but it's not. I mean, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore, Korea, Taiwan, they're all concerned also. We are. They're closer to you. They're in your neighborhood. And already, what is it? Spratly Islands? Spratley. And they may have another name, but they're waters near, and more some of those islands. I think Japan is one of them that claims them. The Philippines, I think, claim them too. It's complicated. But your country's interesting in terms of what it's been doing in Africa. Far than Americans have been doing. Again, but we were in negotiations with a particular African country, giving the country a loan with favorable interest rates to build this and the other. I think roads, bridges, and a stadium, something like that. A negotiation with that country's government for 3 or 4 years. And China came and said, we'll pay for nothing. Now, compare that. It was interesting to us. It was a master stroke by Trump. And the country that stands to benefit would compare China more favorably than the United States because of the way it conducts itself. There are lessons to be learned there. Yes, when we preach to other countries, be like us. The increasing countries that thinking, maybe not seeing it, we don't want to be like you. And being so arrogant and stop trying to bully us or to do something we're not sure we want to do. And when Dr.
Anthony, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Where's going to be a map?
Okay. I guess we could probably pull that up.
Said that they're going to videotape this, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So that I hope I'll have a copy of it or something.
Absolutely. It's going to be a YouTube. Let me go get him before I mess anything up over here. So we can just pull off.
Georgia, ma'am.
I'm a Master's of Public Administration student. I'm a graduate student.
Public Administration?
Yes, sir.
What course, sir?
Political science.
What year are you in?
I'm a first year.
First year? Oh, first graduate school.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you've got your undergraduate degree.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you, sir?
Junior in my undergraduate.
What is your major?
Political science.
Okay. And
biology.
what are you going to do with that degree?
I'm not having influence my MA.
Influence your,
Okay. So.
okay, graduate school.
All right. Now you can do what you need.
And
All right.
be a doctor?
Great.
A writer.
A what?
A writer.
I didn't hear you.
A writer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In public health or in biology?
Kind of more of, you do know about the more for Henrietta Black.
Okay.
It was written by Rebecca Sloop, who was also a business major in undergrad, but received her master's finance. And she kind of mixes biology and makes it the average person's able to understand
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. So I kind of want to follow her.
Dr. Anthony, is this map gonna work?
Work for me. Oh, that's great. And I can point things on there? Right.
Yes.
What, do I need a pointer?
You probably, yeah, you probably.
I can use a
point
pen. I
directly.
can use a pen.
I think, I don't
Can
know.
you-
if
no,
the
I can
pointer
use
or
a
anything
pen.
like that.
I can use a pen. So if I say, what, no.
If you were to just identify it by name, I think they could follow you.
On my fingers.
Yep.
All right. Good.
So I can be your informal pointer.
All right. So you're gonna be writer. Yeah. You gonna take notes when you go to Oman? I hope I'm gonna take notes when you go to Oman. Here's a way, here you might wanna take notes. I write from top to bottom. You can get more words on a page if you do that. I've been doing this now for 15 years, and I will go back to writing from left to right. And you develop your own shorthand, but this is my way of notes. I take notes on a substance, and then if while I'm doing something like that, an idea comes to me, I haven't been in touch with my sister, my aunt, and I need to call her. Well, I put that in the back of my notebook. But the substance of what I'm writing is in the first part of the notebook. 3 or 4 people I know, yes, my gosh, that's a great idea, have started doing it themselves and told me also they'll never go back to the other way. And you can put it in your purse or your pocket easily, more than you can put this in your purse or pocket there. Something to think about now. Why I do that? In Jesuit school, they didn't have a carpet on the floor of the auditorium. And so when a speaker would come, she or he would be speaking and somebody would move their chair, scrape their chair. You could hear it all over the auditorium, screech. And so the sound was corrupted. And therefore we could not do that. And the way was to take notes. And I started taking notes on the back of an envelope. If you own an envelope, you'd be surprised how much you can get on that envelope if you practice there. But then to lose my envelopes, that's why I went to a notebook. I've been doing it 40 years now, and all my writing comes from these notebooks there, and I transcribe each from it and remember better from it. And so there have been studies that have shown that those who take notes, their mind is racing faster than those who don't take notes. And then people will have notes. Do you just for the most important thing a speaker saying? If you time you take notes on that, the speaker has gone ahead and said 2 or 3 more things that are important, and you listen. So how do you avoid that? I avoid taking notes on everything, and it's not running there without stopping the dam and the river. And so by taking everything, you will get the most important things, and you'll also get the unimportant things. Go back through your notes, and you put a circle around the important things there. And from the page, you might have 2 circles, 3 circles or 4 circles, and the rest of it won't be important. important, but the way to your mind to be different and better and more effective than if you write from left to right. Practice it, you'll get it. You know, I'm sharing with you something that's helped me all my life. And what are you going to be, ma'am?
My major is political science and minor in sociology.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to law school, but I really don't know yet where I want to study.
Oh, well, super. I can see now. Argue before a jury. And this person who killed somebody accidentally and therefore be compassionate and don't vote for the death penalty. I can see you're doing that right now. Ma'am, you're the next.
I'm a Spanish major and a creative writing minor, and I have a different career. I kind of want to be a creative writing professor in another country.
Oh, interesting. Well, a specific other country?
Not specific. I want to go to different countries, but probably a Spanish country.
Latin America, maybe? Okay. And you, ma'am?
I'm a business management major.
A minor or concentration?
Management is a concentration.
Okay. So, well, you can manage me. I need a manager. My wife is sort of my manager. She's the engineer, the plumber, the electrician in our family. Yes, sir. And you again?
Political science with a concentration in pre-law and a minor in business management.
Okay. And China?
Major in political science.
And concentration?
International.
Say it again.
International.
Oh, okay. Have you ever traveled abroad?
I have.
Where?
Scotland, London, Barcelona, and Paris. Paris.
Wow, okay. Ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah. It was 6 weeks and we traveled.
And you?
This would be my first time.
Oh, first time. Be prepared for culture shock. Yeah, I mean, it's messy for your mind. Well, everybody experiences it. Even though I've been more than 300, 400 times in, I have a little bit of it every time I go. And you, ma'am?
Well, I traveled over here.
From Nigeria, right?
But I've been to Tunisia, Morocco, United States.
Good. And you? Okay. And you, ma'am?
This is my first time.
I've never studied abroad, but I have left the country. I've been in Mexico and Europe, Italy.
And Europe.
Italy.
Italy, okay. I think it's close to my most favorite people. They are gifted. Once time, while there was a Roman Empire at one time, and you go through many parts and you see the evidence all over the place. And you, ma'am?
I went to Singapore for a semester and I studied abroad here.
Okay. All right, we're going to talk about Oman there. And I'll go from the general to the middle and then to the specific. And I'm told that you've done most of the readings, if not all of them. And that will help for the questions. And so I'll go from the general and then we'll stop and have some questions and discussion and answers. I think it's best I say responses rather than answers because some things don't have answers, at least not in my mind. They're questions or they're complex, and even Omanis don't have answers. But all right, Oman, as you may know, is a member of the Gulf Cooperation Council. You know what it is, okay? 6 countries, and the other 5 countries are what? Pardon? Arabia's one.
Iraq.
No. It's a good guess, though. Yes, that's right. Good. Nope. Good. So you've guessed, say, 2 of you, you're looking at the map. All right. No. Good guess, too. This is important.
Smaller country. Qatar.
What?
Qatar.
Yes, Qatar is the pronunciation. Qatar, the insect repellent. Okay. Well, you've named 3. Yes, 6. Okay, you Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates.
Oman.
Oman is one of them. That's 4. More. Kuwait. That's 5. And everybody's looking at the map. Okay. You know the answer to this. You just do it. This is basic. It's like, what is the capital of the United States? And I asked the lady from China, and if she doesn't know what the capital of the United States is, I think she's well educated. So this is basic information. And the 6th one is now you Singapore. You would be able to guess what is the 6th one. It's an island country. Start with a B. But, okay. B is 6. All right, so memorize these 6 because together, and one is a prime number of the 6. But each of the 6 have needs, but also needs. Just like every country is different. And think of each country like fingerprints in 6. No two are the same. So each country has a set of needs. Each country has a set of concerns. Each country has a set of interests. Each country has a set of aspirations. And each country has a set of goals. And Oman's needs, Oman's concerns, Oman's interests, Oman's aspirations, and Oman's goals are in some important ways different from the others. Now, here we can start with the fact that Oman is a former colonial power. Now, into the literature, in most of people's minds, colonialists are not the nice people because Americans were colonized by what country? Pardon? England, Great Britain. Now, I need you to speak up and don't softly, speak loud. You may think in your mind, I'm yelling, but you won't be. I promise you won't be. You hear yelling, but no, you'll come off as more self-confident and mature, and people will think, gosh, she knows what she's talking about. But if you whisper, the person that briefing you will think, she lacks self-confidence. She's not sure of what she's saying. So I'm trying to help you to help yourself. So you've got the six countries, and you have the fact that Oman, as a former colonial power, now much of the century, you had close to 130 countries trying to become independent, like America became independent of Great Britain in what year? What year did America declare its independence against Great Britain? 1776, okay. And the conflict of the war against the colonial power ended when?
1772?
No. Well, if the conflict began in 1776, it's not likely to end in 1772. I mean, almost impossible.
No, I misread the question. What was the question again?
Did America's war against Great Britain, when did America's war for independence from the colonial rule, when did the revolution stop? I mean, how long have we been free?
1789.
Pardon?
1789.
Sun is closer. 1981 in October. Okay. And then when we became independent, there were at least 2 years when they said, you owe us a lot of money. We built up this port, and we built up this city, and we built up this, and we're leaving behind this. You owe us a lot of money. And unless you pay us compensation for what you're taking from us, you are not going to have good relations with us. And we are the strongest power. So you are asking for it if you don't try to be fair. So 2 years until 1783. And there was a treaty. We agreed. And then one thing led to the other. France, rather, Spain, gave up Florida and the southern part of the United States. And we gained a lot of additional land as a result. So the 1780s was when we were experimenting with a lot of things because we were a new country and we wanted to be a democracy, and we set up a governmental structure and a political system that was different from that of Great Britain because we were free. Well, all this is to give you a sense of empathy. Empathy is something Americans and empathy is to put yourself in the shoes, souls, situations of someone else and think like them. And this will lead you wonder that way. Well, if yourself in other people's shoes, you'll come up with the answer because they have their needs legitimate, their concerns legitimate, interests legitimate, their goals legitimate. It's like we do, all right? So empathy is important, and if you have it, we will be able to understand Oman a lot better because alone of the 6 GCC countries, it was a colonial power. It's in what part of the world? What did it own away from Oman? Zanzibar. That's right. Okay. And you did speak up louder, but just speak up still louder. You're doing it. Keep going. Okay. Oman also most of what is itself free. You got to do a lot more reading, self-empathy, and the map.
Africa.
East, yes. The coast, Mombasa in Kenya, Lamu in Kenya, okay, and probably some coast along East Africa. So many of Oman's population who formerly lived in Zanzibar, and education was in English because the British ran East Africa's education system and economic system. And Oman's ruler, who is Oman's ruler? Sultan Qaboos. How do you spell his name?
K-A-B-O-O-S.
Qaboos, Sultan Qaboos. And Qaboos, when he came to power, when? 970. Good. And the country until then had only 2 schools and only 6 miles of paved road, and only 1 surgeon for the entire country, and only 1 major hospital for the entire country. Imagine that. So the need was for a lot of English-speaking people to help on develop, and more of them for sure could come from Zanzibar that they owned and colonized until de facto 1964, when there was a revolution in Zanzibar, which overthrew the government and started a new system of political dynamics. And therefore, one's influence in Zanzibar and a sister island to Zanzibar called Pemba, P-E-B-A. Many people came there and took jobs in Oman. And in many ways, they were resented because coming from the outside and inside of Oman, who never left, said, hey, this is unfair. Through the dark ages here, and all that exists should go to us. And why are you bringing these outsiders in? So we need to know this. It's no longer the case where the former Omanis got the plush plum jobs, because Oman now has been free from its former ruler for 46 years, and it has its own university system, elementary, K through 12 system, and most Omanis can speak a degree of English. Thousands of Omanis are fluent in English, okay? But his Zanzibar background is important. No other member of the Gulf Cooperation Council has had any remotely comparable history. So the East Africa part of Oman's psychology, history, background, and perspective is a key, one among others, to why Oman thinks differently and acts differently from the other 6 GCC members. Now, truth on, Oman also important in Iraq almost more than 1,000 years ago, than between Iran and Iraq. And the Iranians built and placed an iron barrier between Iraq and Iran. And this gave Iran the upper hand. And the Iranians came all the way from Oman and broke that chain and allowed the Iraqis to be free. And Oman is famous in the region for that. Now, the last country that you named of the GCC countries, again, was what? Louder.
Bahrain.
That's right. There's a big fort in Bahrain, and the Bahrainis are proud of it. And a tourist that comes to Bahrain is shown that port. And the Bahrainis say that this is our fort. Well, yes, but that fort, the Omanis built that port, okay? Now, you haven't answered the earlier question of a country or piece of geography that the Omanis owned, and it is what? This also profoundly influences Oman, what Oman is not. Think Mexican that co-owned once upon a time does not own now. Right? California, good, great answer. What else? Pardon? Texas, okay. In the middle of the city of San Antonio, is called the what? The Alamo. Great. Okay, so if you think that way and you're thinking, well, change and think of an Omani, what would be the country that Oman controlled? Yes.
Didn't they used to be in part of Saudi Arabia?
Not Arabia, but a good guess. Yemen, good guess. No. By procrastination, you're looking at the map. You're cheating here, of course. What? United Arab Emirates. It owned the United Arab Emirates. In the Gulf, it's referred to as the Arabian Gulf. This makes one of the 8 countries in the Gulf angry, because most people read in books something else. What is the name for the Gulf? Persian Gulf, okay? Iranians get very angry when they hear Arabs call it the Arabian Gulf, or even just the Gulf. They say, look, it is the Persian Gulf. Now, read your encyclopedias, your books, and you'll see that it's referred to as the Persian Gulf there. Well, Oman ran all of what is now the United Arab Emirates. Now, there are countries in the Gulf, and 6 of them, but it took a little while to name the 6 in the Gulf Cooperation Council. What are the 2 others? Iran and Iraq. Okay, so 8 countries in the Gulf: Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Oman. Now, what is characteristic to the 6 that is not characteristic to Iran and Iraq is that the form of government of the six, and Oman, one of the six, is what?
Sultanate. Sultanate.
So, yes, it is a what? What did Iran overthrow? Did Iraq overthrow? A form of government called a sultanate, a form of government. Pardon? Monarchy. A monarchy, okay. Like Great Britain, like what we overthrew here to get our independence. And Great Britain is still a monarchy with, of course, a parliament and various aspects of democracy, but it still has monarchy. Now, this is one reason why Iran is not a member of the Gulf Cooperation Council, and same reason why Iraq is not a member of the Gulf Cooperation Council. So Oman has in common with Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates it is a monarchy. Yeah, the world's 212 countries and 193 members of the United Nations. The number of monarchies in the world is in the minority. And many people, Americans included, that think monarchies are the opposite of democracies. Many people think that monarchies have to be not nice, not allowing its people to be free, not allowing its citizens to have a democracy. So there are very few Americans that think of monarchies in a positive way. And there are few among the 22 Arab countries that think of monarchies in a positive way, because in addition to the six monarchies of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, there are two more monarchies in the Arab world. There are 20 Arab countries. The total number of monarchies is what? I said two more, but I've given you the answer, 8. So there are 2 additional monarchies in the Arab world that have one studied somewhere abroad, I think, and mentioned one of them. Come on. Morocco's one of them. That's right. The Morocco knighted me, mistake, a fluke, or an error, but did it anyway. And the one is what? Pardon? Weighing in the Arab world. What's one of the
Jordan.
Jordan. Okay. Jordan's a monarchy. Okay. So you see monarchies in the Arab world, in the monarchy. And much of the Arab world thinks they are out of with press, out of step with freedom, out of step with democracies, either the structures of democratic processes. This is the mindset of the six, that we had better stick together. Franklin, when we got our independence, said, we will all hang separately, we can maybe we hang together. And the 13th hung together and their freedom from the British. So the one thing that Oman has in common with its 5 fellow members of the Gulf Cooperation Council is that it's a monarchy. It is the only one that is the name Sultanate. But the Sultanate means a sultan. And Qaboos is called Sultan Qaboos. None of the others are called Sultan. The Saudi Arabia is a king. The head of reign is a king. The Kuwait is an emir. The Qatar is an emir. The head of the 7 United Arab Emirates, the word Emirates is emirs. The people refer to their emirs as something that starts with an S. One of the 7 heads of state of the United Arab Emirates, you would address him as what?
Shah.
Shah? Oh, yes, but no, that would insult them. But it's good. Yes. I think if I were you, I might have guessed that too. But that's not the answer. You would say, if the emir name is Zayed or Muhammad, you would say what? Hello, Muhammad. Hello, Zayed. Stos, but Shah.
You said sheikh.
Say it. Sheikh? Sheikh. 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 You would say, Sheikh Ahmed. Hello, Sheikh Mohammed. Hello, Sheikh Ahmed. Okay. And from that, they are not just emirates. The synonym for them, they are sheikdoms. Okay. The others are kingdoms, but what they have in common is that they are all monarchies, and they all want to remain monarchies. They have people who consult with them and try to assist them in being secure and stable so that they can be peaceful. All human beings want to be secure, safe, and stable and peaceful. How are they going to be able to advance, to progress, to be prosperous? If they're in war, like Iraq is, like Syria is, like Libya is, there's no way they can be prosperous. So if you're secure and you're stable and you're peaceful, you can possibly and effectively. You can anticipate effectively. You can predict effectively. You can prepare effectively. Parents want to be able to do this. All citizens want to be able to do this, yes.
Dr. Anthony, I have a question.
Sure.
Is there a distinction between the sheikhs on the king in terms of religious authority? So, Sultan Qaboos, for example, he's not considered to be the supreme religious leader in Oman, but he approves all the sermons that the mosques deliver on a weekly basis.
Yes.
So, is there a distinction between a sheikh and a sultan in terms of religious authority?
Really. The reason the Sultan approves all of the week sermons is because of what's been happening in parts of the Muslim Islamic world since the revolution in Iran, next door. Religious leaders call shots. The leaders do not. And so all 6 of the GCC members do not want to have happen to them what happened to Iran. And one think they can avoid happening to them what happened in Iran is to have control over what the religious leaders say. Now, the religious leaders meet with the citizens 52 times a year. On where the week?
Friday.
Pardon?
Friday.
Friday is when most Muslims go to mosque and hear the sermon of a religious leader in their community. And there's a a grant, is what they call them, MUFTI, and each of these countries, no, thank you very much, religious leader, but to prevent what happened to of Iran when so-called Shah hit the fan in 1979, they included we have to be quite careful, and religious leaders say, and they have to chances a year to change the thinking of citizens, inspire them to overthrow the government. And because each of the years the sheikhs and the kings and the Sultan, all of the monarchs, want to remain in power, they feel the necessity to control and to influence what the religious leaders are saying. And this is a key to why and how they have succeeded to be in power. I know the head of an American company that had a contract to help secure these countries' existing governmental structure. And he said, when I was competing with other companies to the contract to help the emir, the sheikh, the king, the sultan to be ongoingly, continuously secure, he said, you need to know two things. One, I want to remain in power. How else can I achieve my goals? How else can I try to ensure safety security for my people? How else can I succeed in making my country secure against external threats? How else can I help my people advance their standard of living? How else can I have a system of justice and fairness in my country unless I'm allowed to continue to try to do it? Overthrown, I am toast. I won't do it. So the thing in terms of my dreams, aspirations, and goals, needs and concerns and interests and objectives is to remain in power. Now, number two is a question for you. Number one that you don't understand. So you get it? All right. So the number one goal is security. Now you think that this is different from us. No, it's not. Read the Constitution and rules of the United States of America's government in the United States Constitution. They are goals that we Americans have, and they're in our Constitution. Number one is to ensure the domestic safety of the citizens. If you don't do that, there's going to be packing heat and have a holster and a gun, and to ensure their personal safety and the safety of their children and family. And what kind of a country is it if people have that? So one goal is to ensure the safety of the people. Number two is ensure the defense of the country, because all the resources America has, mountains and rivers and streams and gold and silver and oil and gas and lumber and culture, etc., which most countries do not have, but most countries would of a lot they could have. So to ensure that other countries don't even think of it, well defended. The second goal in our Constitution is to ensure the external defense. And the third is to ensure advancement and progress in America's standard of living, because people want to improve their access to consumer goods, to ensure that they will have a nice home, and they'll have a nice neighborhood, to ensure the air will be clean, to ensure that children themselves have a job, not unemployed, ensure that people have access to health care and medicine. Okay, so if that government is not doing that, it's not a question of whether the government is going to be replaced. It's just of when it's going to be replaced. So the third goal of America. And the fourth is to do what one can to ensure administration of the system of justice. Other people are going to continuously have revenge, and fields will go after the McCoys, and the Dems will go after the Browns, and the Browns will go after the Joneses, and the Joneses will go after the Jacksons, and Jacksons will go after the Smiths there, and this will be a sorry state of affairs. We are not in that regard. Every country's government wants to achieve things, but you can't achieve them by accident or coincidence. And that's what I said. Just read the American Constitution. And if you what I said, just watch what happens after the next January the 19th, when the inauguration of the new president comes. The first 4 appointments will be people who can achieve those things. The safety, which is going to be the FBI, not the Department of Interior. Other countries, it's called the Ministry of Interior. But the Department of Interior has to do with Smokey the Forest Bear and the national parks, okay, Yellowstone, and things like that. And the second appointment is going to be who will be the head of our Department of Defense, which gets most of the budget, because it's this thing about what we want to achieve, not external safety, but things that might threaten our national security as stand living, the life of the American people. Third, yes, was the Department of Treasury, which has to do with America's financial system, American system, currency, and America's currency, what we pay for our imports and exports. We don't have to pay in pound sterling. We don't want to pay in yen or rupee. We don't want to have to pay in francs. We want to have to go to the bank to get some other currency. We want our own currency. So this is another function of our Department of Treasury. So number 3. And fourth one, what is the appointment to ensure an effective system of civil justice. This is the Department of Justice. You watch and see. Thing for Oman and the United Arab Emirates and Qatar and Arabia and Bahrain and Qatar and China and Nigeria. Okay, so they give you insight, empathy, and knowledge, and action, and understanding about Oman's government and why it is that form of government and the form of government to remain the head of the form of government. Okay, so 6 of the GCC countries share this in common, and then 2 other Arab countries that think that the state think the same way. Different. Algeria, different. Tunisia, different. Mauritania, different. The Faroe Islands, different. Iraq, different. Syria, different. Lebanon, different. Djibouti, different. Okay? The picture now of something about Oman that is shared in common with its other 5 members of the GCC countries there. So I mentioned it's a former colonial power. It ran Zanzibar and ports, East Africa, Lamu, and Mombasa in particular. And it ran the economy of Zanzibar. What has Zanzibar's economy been famous for over the years? Producing, exporting more than any country a particular crop.
Palm oil.
Pardon?
Was it palm oil? Palm oil?
Palm
Palm oil.
No. COVES. Where people put into meat to preserve freshness and spoil, and which goes into chewing gum, other kinds of foods. This was the Zanzibar. Oman and Zanzibar, it ran what is the United Arab Emirates. And Oman's flag flew over a part of southwestern Pakistan, up until the 8th. That part was not completely free. And that western part of Pakistan is called Gwadar. Gwadar. Oman's flag flew over it till 1958. Sold it. Something like $60 million there. But here's another piece of important information. Gwadar, a part of Pakistan has 5 provinces or regions. Gwadar, the biggest Pakistan, and it starts with a B, and it is called what? And across the border into southeastern Iran. Those who live in Gwadar, that's important in Oman, and you will meet a number of the people who are from there. Starts with a B, called Baluchistan. 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 And before Sultan Qaboos came to power, almost all the members of his father, who was all called Sultan, but Sultan bin Taimur, came there. And they came from Gwadar. They came from Baluchistan. Okay? So the Baluchis, or the Baluch, are an important figure in Omani society. And once the Sultan had them in his army and security forces have to do with the following. They are more trustworthy, but not part of any Oman tribe. They were part of an Omani tribe, they would partial to, they favor their own tribe. In its conflicts, they be neutral, or not likely to be neutral, because their own tribe go home on the weekend, and their relatives would say, "Why are you favoring the other tribe? Part of us, aren't you? So behave like you're part of us." They complicate issues of safety and security a lot. So much outsider who's not married to anybody of the tribes or related to any of the tribes, the likelihood is that you can trust them more. And they're wide. In the city of Washington, D.C., where I come from, for the longest time, most of the policemen and women were not from Washington, D.C., Virginia. They were from North Pembroke, maybe. They were Kentucky and Tennessee and West Virginia. None of them were related to the people in Washington, D.C. So the work of the police more effective. Okay? So I have this picture now of Oman being different from all the other GCC countries in terms of its history and relationship to East Africa, its history and relationship to the United Arab Emirates, its history and relationship to the southwestern part of Pakistan, and its relationship with Iran. Okay. All the other 6 GCC countries, 5 of them are Iran. All of the other 5 have files of what Iran has tried to do to overthrow them, undermine them, make them unstable, make it more difficult for them to be peaceful and prosperous. But not Oman. And with this, it is for reasons the following. What is here through which all of the imports of the GCC countries come, that come by ships, and all of the GCC countries' exports go through? What is that water called? An A, you can go fishing for the rest of the afternoon. And Hormuz Straits, the Straits of Hormuz. It's probably the most vital waterway in the world. Today, yesterday, tomorrow, go 1/3 of all the oil that's traded internationally on Earth. It is key to the world's economy. It is key to the engine of material growth in most of the world's countries. Every country is dependent on energy. No exception. Rich countries and poor countries. Big ones, new ones, and old ones, and everything in between. In this room here, is made as a result of a derivative of oil. It is plastic is oil. It's in your